Welcome to Proper POV, episode 3. We are going to be talking about fitness today. I'm your host, Chris Cernas. Obviously, if you haven't watched the last two episodes, just throw that out there. But yeah, so it's kind of like Q&A style today. No one asked me these, well, they did ask me these questions directly, but not through the podcast. I would love to do that, so please be sure to comment questions, and I will continue to do Q&As. But these are Q&As that I have answered for friends and for clients and anyone, but not through the podcast. So that's what we're going to go over today. Just some minor things that seem obvious to me, but not necessarily are obvious to everyone. So let's get started. Number one is they ask me how much weight do you recommend for someone my size, how much to lift, and then how many reps and how many sets. So like, how do you figure out the number to do? Everyone is a little bit different. I mean, if you're a certain weight, I can't just tell you, oh, this is how much weight you do for a bicep curl. I could tell you how much you should be able to 3 rep max, or how much you should be able to, like, what your goal could potentially be. But I can't tell you what to start with. I can't tell you what to have right now. Um, and in all seriousness, it doesn't matter at all. It doesn't. Even the goals don't matter, because you're not you're probably not in the gym to go in and say, all right, well, I really want to go in and I want to bench press 200, and that's my goal. No, your goal is probably to look big or to have high functioning muscles. So if you put a number on it, you're not saying I want to bench 200. You're saying I want to bench a shit ton. That's what you're saying. You want to have you won't want to bench 200. You probably want to bench 250. You see what I'm saying? Like, it's like you just want to bench a large number. It's not, there's no significance behind 200 other than it's a big number. And same thing goes for number of reps and everything like that. Like, you can say, oh yeah, I curl, I do 20s in each hand, and I do 20 reps each side. And you're like, okay, that's like high reps and like a decently high weight for that many reps. But it's like, what is that? What are the numbers just to show off? It's like, that's not what it's about. It's about how high functioning you can be. And if you're trying to grow your muscles, you're not really trying to max out everything in that way. Instead, you're trying to max out your muscles' capacity for movement. So that's what you should be focusing on. So what I tell people instead is I say, okay, well, grab whatever weight you think is a comfortable weight for you, and go ahead. We'll keep using bicep curls as an example. So you're doing bicep curls, right? And you say, okay, go ahead and just do your curls. All right, so they're doing the curls. They get to 15, 20, and they go, and they're not counting. They're just, and I tell them not to count. They just keep going. They just keep going doing their curls, and they're like, oh, it burns really bad. It burns really bad. They're about to set it down. Stop. Do 5 more right now. Now you get to count. Once it burns and you're about to drop it, that's when you crank out that 5 more. And that's how you're going to grow those muscles. Because when you put a number behind it, you don't know how your muscle's going to necessarily function 20 reps in. You can't predict that unless you do it every day. But even then, it's like the days vary. If you're changing the weights, or if you did a workout previous, like say you just did like pull downs and now you're switching to bicep curls, obviously your biceps going to be a little bit tired, so it might be a little different from the previous day. And then also, you don't know if you're pushing your muscle to its fullest potential, because you're like, oh, I did 20. Awesome. Set's done. Let me cool down and then do 20 more. You probably could hit 25. So I'm just saying, you really want to focus on what it feels like way more than the number you're doing. And plus, it's just so different for everybody. So we can go more in depth on that, about numbers versus weight, on a different episode. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much the answer for that one. Let's see what else we got here. Sets versus weight. Yeah, and then one more thing I just want to throw in on there was, when you're doing it, another thing you can do is, instead of focusing on like how many you're doing, so just doing it and then being like, okay, it's sore now we'll do 5 more. If you make sure that you're doing it and you bring it down all the way so your elbow is all the way straight, and you don't want to lock it out, so you're just you just want to open it up and start bringing it back. You should still have some engagement right here at the end, and then you start bringing it back up. And when you come up to the top, squeeze at the top, and then let it down slowly. And see how I'm still engaged here. I have no weight in my hand, and I'm still engaged. When you do have a weight in your hand, your engagement will be even higher because obviously you have the resistance. So that's something else to focus on. When I do crunches, I get like not like tired gas, but like my abs feel the burn, and it's really tough for me to go over 20 crunches because when I'm doing my crunches, I'm like squeezing my abs, like just flexing them as hard as I can. And same thing in a plank. Like I'm doing a plank, and I'm not just like, oh yeah, my body's not touching the ground. I am trying to touch my elbows through the floor into my toes. I'm trying to like dig a hole, through the floor. So then I'm engaging, like really engaging. And then like the farther the arms are from your core, the more your core is engaged. So that kind of thing where you're actually pushing yourself. You're not just lying, you're not like, oh, I did a 2-minute plank. But like, okay, but did it hurt? Was it hard? That's what it's about. You're supposed to push yourself. So it's not about the numbers. Remember that. Next one I want to talk about, is people ask if they want to run before or after. I've heard plenty of different things, even from coaches, that say it's really up to you which one you do, or if you do it at all. Especially, obviously like bodybuilders and stuff, they don't really do the cardio. But I highly suggest it. I've heard things like you can't really bulk if you're trying to gain muscle, but it's like unless you're a bodybuilder or unless you're trying to gain like immense amounts of muscle, it's really unnecessary to cut out running. And also on top of that, it's like the running they're talking about is running like 5 miles at a time. Like 3 miles isn't even long distance. So when they're talking about don't do long distance running if you're trying to because your body will naturally lean out if you're trying and cut back on muscle bulking if you are running long distance. That's just the natural. But long distance is like 5 to 10 miles. We're not like anything below that you're in a safe zone. Especially, you should be running a mile every single time. That's so simple. And it's not, you can even, it doesn't have to be that hard, especially if you're using it as a warm-up. If you're not into the running aspect and you're not trying to get good at running, use it as the warm-up, and it doesn't need to be difficult. You can run at literally 6 miles per hour and just go a mile. That's so easy, but it will get your joints moving. It'll balance your body out. It's really good for getting your certain muscles to relax and certain muscles to fire properly, because the human body is not built to do anything except run. That's the only thing we're good at, is running long distance. We're not built to lift heavy weights. Other animals are built for that. We're bad at that. We're bad at a lot of things. Like compared to all animals, we are the worst in the majority of all physical feats. Take away from running long distance. There's this thing called I don't remember what it's called, but it's like a horse marathon where there was a horse versus a person, and they both ran a marathon, and you had to see who's going to win, because the horse can run faster, but it has to take breaks. So it'll run, but it can only run fast, and then it will get really hot and tired, and it will slow down and walk. But then the human is keeping a consistent pace the whole time. So by the end, they are finishing very close. I have heard that they have both won. I've never watched one, whatever, but I've heard that they have. It's even. It's fairly even. So that's what's really crazy, is like that's what people are good at, is running long distance. So because of that, if you're having injuries or imbalances, especially in the hips and the legs, and you're having trouble warming up or whatever, it's just the running beforehand is going to be so important for you, because doing that brings the body back to its natural state. Whatever you do that throws the body out of balance, running brings it back to neutral. Especially a warm-up, doing a warm-up like that is exactly how all your joints are built to move. Why wouldn't you do that? I don't understand. Why would you do something else that your body isn't necessarily built to do in a high-functioning sense? It's just, running is so simple. And if you can't run, or if you don't like running that much, then do a fast-paced walk. I would highly suggest stair stepper. That's when you don't need, or even walking, at an incline is way better than just walking normal. yeah, anything like that would be really really great warm up wise. I broke my ankle over a year ago now, I think, and I would when I was working out during that time. I had just had surgery and I was coming back, and then during the rehab stages, I was allowed to run, and so I would run for 30 minutes, then I would work out, and then I would run for another like 15, and so it was my warm up and cool down. So I mean, you can totally do that. I just right now I'm putting time into other areas in the gym, and I don't have the whole day to be in the gym, and my body doesn't want to be in the gym all day long because there's other things that I need to. I would rather work out smaller workout multiple times. Like I would rather do a smaller workout every single day than big workouts and taking days off. Um, because my intensity is higher if it's also shorter. So which is better in the long run for sure. Yeah, I mean that pretty much. I hope that answers everything in that sense. And then this is gonna be the last one that I go over. Is people who ask they want more definition in their body. So they want to be able to see their abs, or something I hear all the time from a lot of people is they have this flap under their arm. And they say just my arms jiggle and you can't really see my biceps, or like my tricep. I don't have my line definition in my tricep, or I just like my arms just look fat, or they like when I wear a tank top, it like pokes, it fluffs out, and they don't like that at all. And I get it. And they think that they want to show their abs, so they do lots of crunches. They want their arms to be good. They're like, so I should do triceps and push-ups, or because the fat's on the bottom. It's not. They don't even say like biceps. They're like, I shouldn't do biceps. Like I need to do triceps because this is where the fat is. I was like, that's not how it works. You need to be doing cardio. Cardio burns fat. And they go, yeah, but shouldn't I try to burn the fat in that area by doing that exercise? And like I see where you're going, but that's not how it works. The way it works is that your body stores fat in certain areas of the body in a certain order. Everybody's body is slightly different, but it is generally goes your butt and your legs, and then your stomach, and then your arms. So when I was in wrestling, that's exactly what they would do. Is they would take a can't remember what it's called, one of those fat tester things, and they like pinch you with it. And those are the three areas they would test to give you your body fat percentage. And that's because that's the order. And then obviously there's more past the arm, which I believe after the arm, then it goes into your back and your neck, and that's when you start getting into that kind of stuff. So if you have fat in the areas past the tricep, that's where you're going to see the definition starting to show first. If you don't have fat past the arms, then your arms are going to be the first thing that start to show. And if that's not the case, if you start losing around the belly first, then you just have a different body, a different way that your body stores fat. But it's really just you need to lower your body fat percentage in order to get rid of that. And the unfortunate thing is if you are at that point, then you probably will have some sagging skin, and you might need surgery to remove the sagging skin so that you can get your definition back. But that's an option. And then you can, in tandem, be working out those muscles and losing the fat, but you will not get the definition from doing the workout, working out the muscles independently, because you have to get rid of the fat first. Now, growing the muscles is obviously going to make them show better. So even if you lost all your fat, like you see like a really, really skinny girl or like a really, really skinny dude, and they don't really have good abs, that's the reason is because their abs are very flat. I'm sure you've heard that, like a flat tummy or like flat abs, or a skinny pack maybe, where they have abs, but they're not like a lot of definition. They don't poke out. They don't round out, and that is because they don't have the strength in there, but they have low enough body fat percentage that you can still see the muscles. So obviously building up those muscles is also going to be able to let them see through a higher body fat percentage. So say you could probably see your abs anywhere from, well, especially if you're a dude, is anywhere from like 12 to like 15. If 15 is kind of pushing it, you should still be able to see some abs. But if you want like a good outline even on the outside, then you're pushing probably 8 to 10% body fat. And then females Females is, I believe, about the same. The only thing is it's harder for them to get lower body fat percentage. So yeah, that's pretty much everything I think I wanted to cover. Just 3 questions this time. Please drop some more questions. I love doing these Q&As a lot. And the thing about this is it really helps me give you guys what you need, because obviously you guys are going to be at a different level than I'm at. And I am giving you guys the information I am basically, I'm solving problems that I am running into and then giving you guys the answer, versus you guys are going to be coming up with different problems than I am. So please tell me what problems you guys are encountering so that I can answer them, because I'm sure I have encountered them at some point, and I'm going to be, writing things down and doing these more and more as I'm running into these experiences. But that's, I want to help you guys the most I can. So please send them in. All right. Thanks for sitting in. See you next time.